Money FM 89.3, best of breakfast. Mind your business, only on Money FM 89.3.
Thanks for joining us on The Breakfast Show. It's Mind Your Business with me, Audrey Seek, and Ahmad Akhtar. Before he was teaching tiny tots how to float, our next guest was keeping world leaders safe, from Singapore's own Lee Kuan Yew to former U.S. President George W. Bush. As a close protection officer, his life revolved around discipline, control, and staying calm under pressure no matter what came his way.
But when life unraveled, his business failed and personal life took an unfortunate turn. He found healing in the last place he expected, the water. Today, as founder of Dip Swim, he teaches resilience, emotional strength, and self-rescue to the youngest learners, starting as early as 3 months old.
It's a story of second chances, fatherhood, and finding purpose in the unlikeliest places. So let's dive right in with Athanasius Pang, founder of Dip Swim, who is here with us today in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. So you're a father yourself, a former member of Singapore's elite police force, and you once stood guard over presidents and prime ministers, which is pretty surreal. In fact, you started as a close protection officer for VIPs like Lee Kuan Yew and George W. Bush, which is pretty incredible. What drew you to that line of work in the first place?
Well, it was not by choice. I was drafted in the Coast Guard before, right? And then I was kind of headhunted to be in this protection unit. So during that time, I mean, this was a very covert unit. Many of even our most senior guys didn't even know that this unit exists.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was pretty covert. I was one of the privileged ones to be headhunted, right? Of course, we went through hell, went through the rite of passage, but I gained a lot of experience from it.
I'm sure you did, and you have so many stories to tell, I'm sure, but you've gone from protecting world leaders to guiding babies through their very first, kicks and paddles. Not exactly a typical career move, some would say, right? How did that transition come about for you?
I was in service for 20 years. After I left my service, I set up my own security company. I had 4 regional officers around. I had a factory in China, and then COVID hits. Right, yeah. So we were losing like about 300K per month at that time. And we didn't know that COVID lasted for that long, right?
Yeah.
And money was burning every second. Yeah. So I tried to hold on to it because it was my pride, right? It was hard-earned blood and sweat. Right? Building up the company from a small little company, going through ups and downs. And I didn't want to let go. And that was a mistake. If I would have cut my losses, I could have probably rebuilt that business again. So after that, I was thinking, what should I do? I was looking for jobs. I sent hundreds of resumes, but during that time, at that age, you probably don't have much options, and nobody want to take a second look at you. Most of them would say that you're overqualified. I even applied for jobs at a fast food chain, and I was declined.
It's interesting how being overqualified could hurt you that much.
Oh, yes. I was very surprised as well. I thought that with my experience and with my entrepreneurship, my company survived for 11 years. From one little small dot, we ventured out. We have regional office. I think we are the only security company that has ventured in the region. And we have business in Africa, right, in Hong Kong, in the US. We were doing a lot of first-time things, and we came up with patentable products as well. Yeah, so COVID hits, and then I was thinking, what should I do next? Right, looking for a job was the next easiest option. But fortunately, and I thank my God for those companies who has rejected me, because if not for their rejection, I wouldn't be what I am today. So I was thinking, how should I move on? All right. And I was looking at education. I was looking at fitness and sports, right? And I was thinking, why not do all of it at one go? Sports and fitness is booming, especially after COVID. Right? Everybody is talking about health and fitness.
Yep.
And education is evergreen. And that was how I started Dip Swim. Now, the challenge that I had when I wanted to do children's swim was that I realized that the resilience in the children were not there. Right? It's like after swimming, when you want them to swim one lap, for example, like earlier on you mentioned, right? And they couldn't even last half a lap, and they were complaining tired. And I see a gap. Right now in the industry, everybody is talking about laps and all, but the actual fact remains that less than 1% of the total population swimmers are able to make it for the Olympics. So why are we drilling on perfect swim, right? And everybody is talking about water safety, but water safety to me is common sense. Parents are always teaching about water safety. When your kid is not a swimmer and he goes near to the pool, what would the parents say? Stay away from the pool. And that is water safety, isn't it? When your kid is jumping dangerously in the pool, what would the parents say? Don't do that. And that is water safety. So why do you need a swim coach to teach water safety?
Okay.
So beyond just teaching kids survival skills in the water, it seems like you have a larger goal of developing mental resilience amongst these infants. Give us an indication of the curriculum that you run. Group sessions, one-on-one, what kind of programs are on offer?
Right, we do one-on-one, right? We do mainly private, right? So we're going into private coach. We are in private coaching. So we do private one-to-one, we do private groups, right? Like, for example, now the three of you are together, you want to form a group, and we will provide that service to you.
Yeah, I think Audrey and I could use some swimming lessons.
Speak for yourself, boy.
I'm just kidding. She's a very good swimmer. And you carry on.
Right. So what I realized was that, they talk about water safety and they talk about swim drills and everything, but I see a gap. Right? The gap here is what's next. A swimmer does not necessarily make you a survivor. You can swim, but you can't survive. So what happens next? And especially for toddlers and for babies, water incidents happen.
Right.
So when they fall into the water, what do they do? Right? So what do they do? So many children, and in fact many parents, do not know what is going to happen next. What are you going to do? What are they supposed to do? And most of the time, what they thought of is post-incident. So if they ingest too much water, which means they are drowning, and you apply CPR, you do AED, but what's before that? What is the in-between?
Right.
So I see the gap.
Okay.
And I bridge the gap.
So is that why character building is such a big part of what you do at Dip Swim? It's basically you're trying to fill the gap between how the child reacts before something terrible happens.
Yes. And that is the surprise challenge. Right. Many times, in fact, many years, we hear that the one generation is getting weaker after generation. And I don't see anyone doing about it.
Right.
And when in the water, that's the interesting part of it. When children come into the water, including babies, when they come into the water, everything surfaces. Your parenting, the character of the baby, the behavior, and the traits. The behavioral traits. Right? Yeah. So are they a born leader? You can see. It surfaces. It floats up.
You can tell at like 3 to 5 months old whether he's a born leader?
Yes.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yes.
Well, what are some of the most surprising challenges you've faced in running Dip Swim? Not just from a teaching standpoint, but also being able to balance financial sustainability and something that is emotionally fulfilling for you.
Well, financially, it is very sustainable. Right. What we are selling here is how we train leadership. Right. So swimming is an incubator to the rite of passage to leadership skills. So why? Right. A lot of questions came up with why. How do they become a leader? Right. When they learn how to swim, because when they come to swim, we do realism training. So realism training meaning we put them in the water from the very first day without goggles, without floaties. Right? And the challenge here is parents getting a culture shock. It's like, you don't need goggles? You don't need floaties? Will they drown? So the thing here is in city living, we face this a lot. But when I was in China, the first time when I was teaching children how to do river crossing, I was very down at that time, so I was standing at the river and I see children jumping into the river without knowing how deep and how strong the current was. They were happily jumping into the water. And they don't have this problem. I don't see the parents there, overprotecting them. Now, but here in the city living, where parents are more affluent, we are boosting our ego by depriving their learning journey. One of the challenge that I have was to communicate with the parents, educate the parents. They're saying that, your kid is not going to drown in this 30 minutes of session. And they have to adapt to it. And the next thing that will come up is the cries. Because our children are most often or not being more overprotected, right? So when they don't see their mummies, they don't see their daddies in the water, or they don't even see their aunties, they start crying and they start whining. And what does that resonate? That resonates mental resilience. That resonates self-confidence, self-esteem.
Yeah.
And that is how realism training which is in part of our program, teaches them how to be more self-confident. And these are all traits of leadership.
Of course. So you bring a pretty unique background to this, of course, from your days from elite protection. What do you learn about discipline and fear that still influences how you approach challenges today?
Back into those days, we had to go through the rite of passage, right, to be part of the elite member of the unit. And I was very privileged to be next to LKY. We were the next closest thing to him for 11 years. Day in, day out. Now, 38 Oxley Road was our second home, was my second home at least. Right? I can't say for the rest, but he was my second home. I was there almost every day. And looking at how he does things, right? How he works, right? How he manages his time. The strict discipline that he had influenced me a lot. It just took over me. And looking at him, knowing him, it's like, I want to be just like him. But of course, in reality, we couldn't. But I inculcate that into myself. And with that, what we want to do is, I think of the betterment of Singapore. I want to contribute to the society. And if I can copy myself to be like LKY, I would want to photocopy this to all the children in Singapore. And then we have many, many more LKYs in Singapore. And there will be a better Singapore.
It certainly would be. What is one piece of advice you'd give to aspiring entrepreneurs who are listening to us right now, who might be struggling to start a business or come up with an idea? Perhaps any learnings from your journey that you're willing to share?
Oh, there's too many.
Got to pick one.
Yeah, just pick one.
Well, I would say that never give up, all right? But that's kind of lame. Everybody says never give up. But that's kind of one of the key success. I've seen so many. If I have coaches that came to us, learn our program, and they left. They try to strike it out on their own. But they themselves do not have that resilience to actually move forward, to push themselves, right? To learn something new and to have that discipline. And in business as an entrepreneur, you definitely require that discipline. You require to have the determination, and you require to have that never say die attitude.
Yeah.
Without that, nothing is going to happen. It's not going to, everybody is talking about technology nowadays. A lot of entrepreneurs are thinking about, especially young entrepreneurs, thinking about AI, right? Which earlier we were talking about it, right? But for me, I would invest in HI, human intelligence. There are certain things, at this point of time, probably for the next 10, 15 years, right? There are still businesses or things that technology couldn't replace. So as for my business, human are important. Our coaches are the face of the company. They are our assets.
Yeah.
And I invest heavily on them. I invest in my coaches. I make sure that they have the discipline. I make sure that they have the must-go attitude.
Yes, must go and never say die. From guarding presidents to teaching babies how to float and maybe be a leader, your story is such a reminder that resilience can be found and taught in the most unexpected places. Athanasius, it was great chatting with you. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us.
You're most welcome, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. That was Athanasius Pang, founder of DipSwim. Stay with Money FM 89.3.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.